Hey everyone, welcome to Tech News Day, and this episode is sponsored by Mack Weldon, which at least one of us is wearing right now. Can you guess who it is? Or is it both? Are we fresh? Stay tuned for the reveal on that, but first some tech news, starting with some new rules and changes and some unsurprising BS from this website, youtube.com.
Are you tired of your favorite creators getting screwed over by bogus copyright strikes? Well, good news. YouTube's 3-strike system has some welcome changes coming their way, except, oh wait, never mind, because the new changes to YouTube's strike system are all about community guidelines violations and have nothing to do with YouTube's notoriously broken copyright strike system.
We heard you loud and clear. I think you have tinnitus, YouTube, because that's not what we said at all.
Yeah, in fact, community guidelines violations and copyright violations, they're tracked completely separately. They have been for a while.
Yeah. So if none of this makes any sense to you, here's some background. Much like in baseball and in the California criminal justice system, YouTube has for a long time used a 3-strikes policy in enforcing its rules. With the copyright violations 3-strikes policy, each time you're found to have violated someone's copyright, the video is removed. And if you're found to have violated copyright law 2 more times within the next 90 days, your channel is terminated. If you violate copyright during a live stream, you lose your ability to live stream for 90 days.
Yeah.
But with the tactics that we've seen recently, a lot of these copyright trolls...
And we'll get to that.
...will do all the strikes at once.
Yeah, they can ask you to remove it, or they can demand that it be removed, or they can be like...
let's strike it 3 times right now.
Yeah.
They're like a...
Or they can be like, keep it up. It's free money.
Yeah.
Anyway, the community guidelines strike system, it works slightly different than the copyright one. YouTube's community guidelines, they have to do with the stuff like harassment, bullying, sexual content, hateful content, stuff like that. It also includes, as we learned a little while ago, not running a YouTube live stream that solely consists of text telling people to go watch a Twitch live stream.
Hey,
apparently a big oops.
All I'll say about that is that we were promoting a fucking charity event. And we got banned from live streaming for 3 months.
We still made a lot of money for, I don't remember which charity it was.
That one,
but
I think that one was for children's hospitals.
Well,
and we raised a bunch of money for cancer, to fight cancer, not for cancer.
Important distinction.
Yeah, people screw that up all the time. They're always raising money for cancer. It's a big war.
Well, you can't fact check us because that video and everything we've ever done is gone.
Gone.
Anyways, before this new upcoming strike system goes into effect on February 25th, here's how it used to work and I guess technically currently does. Your first community guidelines strike resulted in a 90-day live streaming ban. That's what we got. The second strike within 90 days blocks you from being able to upload for 2 weeks. And the third strike meant that you're out. Your channel's done.
Also, I'd like to add that you can't even fucking fight it because we were like, we didn't know we couldn't do that. Also, we were promoting a charity. Is there anything we can do directly to someone at YouTube? And they're like, you guys broke the rules, sorry.
Yeah.
So hey, there's no like back channel unless you get a.
Well, I mean, it's
not a loud enough stink that we wanted to make.
When you say you've read the TOS, the legal assumption is that you actually have.
Pull out my cheaters, put them on the tip of my nose and read that TOS.
Yeah.
Anyways, the new version of the strike system coming next week simplifies things a bunch, and most importantly, they actually give you a one-time warning now the first time you violate the rules.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. Put your wrists out, slap, bat. That's instead of just issuing the strike immediately. The violating video does get taken down though, and if you get struck after that warning, the first strike is a 1-week freeze on all YouTube activity. Where's Internet Today? They must be on vacation. We should plan this right before our vacation.
We should do something really bad.
Fucked up right when we want a vacation. YouTube talks about like all this be like mental health and like making sure you don't get affected by burnout and all this. And what YouTube's really saying is risk it for the biscuit and then go to Hawaii for a week.
Yeah, next December around like December 15th, I'm showing my dick.
Yeah, that's it. and it's gonna be bundled up inside of some beautiful Mack Weldons, which we'll get to.
It's usually not this small.
It's actually kind of cold in here. Vacation time. Anyways, so 1 week freeze on the first, now the second strike, because the first one's a warning.
Well, no, the first one's a 1 week freeze. Well, yeah, so the first
one's a warning.
Yeah.
The second one is the first actual strike is a 1 week freeze on YouTube activity. The second strike after that one, within 90 days, that results in a 2-week freeze. So if you're making a lot of money, you want to go on a big vacation. And then the third strike, of course, still means that your channel gets terminated.
Long vacation.
Yeah, moving away for a while.
Moving to Belize.
They're also saying their strike notifications are going to be a lot more clear about why a strike was given, though we'll just have to wait and see how well that works.
Yeah. In fact, there's plenty of reasons to believe that despite these changes, YouTube's content policies are going to continue to be poorly enforced by shitty algorithms. And the most recent evidence of this came within the last few days when several prominent YouTube channels focused on the mobile game Pokemon Go or on the now defunct Disney MMO Club Penguin were mysteriously terminated for content guideline violations, specifically sexual content involving minors. Wow, that's a pretty serious accusation. Are there channels on YouTube using kid-friendly topics like Pokemon Go and Club Penguin to groom children for child abuse? Probably, but that's not what happened here. It's much dumber than that.
You see, Club Penguin is often abbreviated as CP. In Pokemon Go, combat points, which measure how strong your Pokemon will be in battle, are also abbreviated as CP. Unfortunately, though, CP is also internet shorthand for child pornography. YouTube doesn't want that kind of CP on their website, and they're 100% right about that. But what's much less right is assigning the job of combating child pornography to a goddamn robot that just deletes entire YouTube channels based on how often the letters C and P appear next to each other in titles and descriptions. Fortunately for the creators affected by this, they have enough followers that they were able to get YouTube's attention and correct this ridiculous mistake. But who knows how many other people have lost their accounts entirely because of this. And that's the big thing is it's like, we didn't want to make a big stink out about it. Like, yeah, we got our thing taken down for like 90 days. But it's just like with the old company we used to work with, the only way to get something fixed is to cause a huge fucking ruckus online to the point where the people operating their social media accounts are annoyed enough by it that they actually ask someone to take a human eyeball and look at it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
The bigger story here, though, is that it basically proves something that a lot of us have been thinking for a while, that manual review on YouTube is often just a flat-out lie. YouTuber Trainer Tips posted a screenshot of a notification he got when his channel started getting strikes, and it claims that his video was flagged for review, then manually reviewed, and YouTube determined it was in violation of YouTube's content guidelines, specifically about sexualization of minors. And there's just absolutely no goddamn way that this review was done by a human, because any actual human being would have looked at it and understood contextually that this was not child porn, and that the original flag was a mistake.
I mean, if I saw Club Penguin or Pokemon Go channels, I'd be like,
sus.
Yeah, get out of here.
This grown man's playing Pokemon Go? What else is he up to?
This would be a lot less annoying if it weren't for the fact that actual pedo content is absolutely thriving on YouTube. And not full-on child porn necessarily, although there's a bunch of Reddit threads talking about how that does exist if you follow the chain long enough. There is a ton of questionable content of young girls on this website that it basically equates to softcore child porn. And YouTuber Matt's What It Is posted a very long video on Sunday that's pretty horrifying. In it, he shows that with a fresh YouTube account, he can find this kind of content with just a few clicks on the recommendation tab. And then once you've watched a few of these videos, it's pretty much the only thing that shows up on your recommendations. And most of the videos he found feature a comment section absolutely loaded with timestamps. And if you click those timestamps, it takes you right to the parts where little kids are in some compromising positions.
Yeah.
Now, some of these videos, I didn't even attempt to go down this rabbit hole.
No,
definitely something I do not want on my fucking internet history. But from the Reddit threads and from other videos I've seen talk about it and from Twitter threads, a lot of this is mostly innocuous content that pedophiles are sexualizing in timestamps.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's like home movies. Yeah. I think a thing about it is a lot of it is like reposted content. Like there's channels going around downloading that stuff and reposting it on their own channels. But yeah, it's like mostly the kind of stuff like little kids playing in the pool, doing gymnastics, like that kind of stuff that's perfectly innocent in one context and extremely creepy in another context. Yeah. And I don't know.
When shadow people online are watching it instead of your family and friends.
It's just, it drives home something we should all know by now is that if you have children, maybe keep put pictures and videos of them all over the internet the moment they're born.
Yeah, and I would assume that there's probably videos on YouTube that were taken from personal Facebook pages and like friends who are like 5 times removed or whatever, but like taking those videos of what you think you're sharing with your friends and family and putting them on the internet for weirdos.
Oh yeah.
But apparently, if you follow the rabbit hole further, like it gets worse the further.
No,
it goes.
there are like actual channels apparently with parents like actively exploiting their kids, which is extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's all fucking there.
Yeah.
And apparently easy to find. So Matt's video, it's extremely uncomfortable, not just for the obvious like reasons of the gross content that he found, but also the fact that this kind of thing it's happening in plain sight. It's so easily accessible that it's almost unbelievable that YouTube would not be aware of this at this point, especially after years of repeatedly promising that they were working to combat this exact sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But it is in fact believable because as far as we can tell, they're relying on algorithms to deal with all of this, and you cannot trust a fucking algorithm to sense whether a video of a child is being used as softcore child porn. This is clearly a job for actual humans.
Yeah.
But YouTube, they can't be troubled to do anything about that apparently.
Yeah, and then like the resurgence of like adpocalypse where people are demanding that all these companies take their ads down from YouTube, and it's just like, okay, here's a good primer. Maybe don't monetize your fucking kids, your videos with your kids on it, or if you're YouTube, why don't you just not monetize fucking videos with children in it? If your algorithm's so smart.
Well, there's a box you have to check, which I'm sure everyone is doing, where it's like minors appear in this video.
Sort of conspiracy hat. I would assume that this is probably aggregates that are taking these videos and putting them up that do not care about monetizing it or clicking that button. Probably the same kind of circles that were doing the Elsa stuff, but hey, guess what's easier? Just ripping a bunch of videos from the internet and rehosting it. And yeah, it's fucked. Meanwhile, though, another huge problem on this site that's largely the result of it being run by robots is the rampant abuse of copyright law that's going on. There's, of course, companies like Zephyr,
fuck you,
who work for the movie studios and send copyright strikes to movie commentary channels that show even a few seconds of footage, thus claiming all of that video's ad revenue for themselves, whether or not it falls under the legal definition of fair use. And we learned this. There's pretty much jack shit you can do about it.
Yeah. You basically have to be willing to drop $10,000 on a lawyer and go to court if you want to prove that what you're doing is textbook fair use.
Against lawyers who...
is a shakedown. Yeah. But then there's also just straight up extortion happening as well, as evidenced by what recently happened to YouTubers Kenzo and Abi Raids. Their channels received copyright strikes seemingly out of nowhere. Then they were contacted and told to pay up, or else there'd be another copyright strike added, thus terminating their channels. The thing is, neither of these guys had actually violated any copyrights. The accounts claiming that they had were just abusing a copyright claim policy that overwhelmingly sides with whoever's making the claim. Basically, you make any copyright claim, YouTube just assumes you're acting in good faith.
Yeah.
This kind of abuse is, of course, illegal under US law. But if you don't live in the US, there's pretty much nothing anyone can do about it.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, is like a lot of these are coming from companies that are just created to do this and scam people out of money, and then like, okay, well that worked.
Yeah, if someone in fucking like India or whatever, anywhere is doing this, there's nothing you can do about it.
And it's the same strategy, although you're risking people's livelihood of income instead of just being stupid with money, as people used to do with email scams, where it's like, if you send out 10,000 of these and one person replies back, you've just made $500 off of a rube.
Yeah.
So like, if you threaten all these channels and like 3 of them take it serious, or anyone does because they think their YouTube channel is gonna get deleted, and it actually might because that's how fucked the system is, then of course people are gonna fucking pay.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, there's no way to really know how rampant this is, but there's like, if you go on like YouTube's, they actually have like community threads where you could like support threads. There's a ton of posts, people claiming this is happening to them.
Hey, we're getting a new YouTube studio, guys. We've been working on it for 3 years.
Meanwhile, a similar scam has been going on for a while that skips the blatant extortion part and simply diverts ad revenue to the person making the false claim. It's free money. And in all these cases, if the YouTuber was famous enough to cause a big enough stink on social media about it, it sometimes got fixed. But who knows how many similar, smaller YouTubers have had to simply hand over their income to a scammer because it was their only option for keeping their channel. This website has a lot of problems, and the most obvious solution to them is, I don't know, hiring more actual living, breathing humans to run the website. But Yeah, fool me once. After years of this bullshit, it's pretty clear that's not gonna fucking happen. That sucks.
There's a lot of talented people out there that just got let go from a lot of jobs in this market that probably, it'd be great. Come in, create some jobby jobs.
Yeah.
Put on your job hat, and you don't even have to learn how to code.
It's just it's so troubling, like with YouTube and with Facebook, knowing that they've created these huge ecosystems that have
no oversight.
Well, it's like they don't know what's happening on their own sites, and that's like really weird to me. That like they've just created this thing and thrown it out into the world, and been like, well, it's not really my problem what happens on there.
Yeah,
it's free speech.
It seems to be kind of both need to be, or they seem to be unaware of the general problems or just actively avoiding them. Also, it is true. I think we've covered this before about how the people who are actually tasked with finding the objectionable content end up quitting after a couple months because it is such a depressing job.
Yes, yeah, that's
there's extreme burnout.
There's no winners
no.
in the fight against like abusive content. But
you can put as many stickers up in your cubicle as you want.
Every day's casual Friday at the
hang in there, baby.
Cubicle.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, we don't know how to fix it either.
No, it's just it's just depressing because at this point, none of it's gonna ever get fixed.
Okay. The one good thing was, let's leave the objectionable content behind because that's a huge problem that algorithms should eventually learn to fix because it's basically torture to a human to have to watch fucking war, death, gore, and stuff like that, and child pornography and stuff like that. It's torture for someone. Algorithm, figure it out. Good thing you're working on it. But for the copyright strike stuff, all you need to do is if they've already created the threshold for monetization with like this many hours watched, this many subscribers, this many this. If you've met the threshold for monetization, maybe make another threshold where it's like, you've moved up to the diamond thing where it's like you've got over 50,000 subscribers and you're doing videos on a semi-frequent basis, and we already have a track record of you not breaking the rules.
We should maybe take your issues more seriously,
or have a buffer where you can fight it before it takes a strike on your channel, and then YouTube wouldn't, because there's probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of channels that are over a certain threshold. That's a lot easier to manage than billions of fucking minutes of video.
Right. The biggest problem with the copyright thing is actually not even YouTube's fault. It's our copyrights laws are very old. They're like mostly pre-internet.
Yes.
They don't take into account
the internet.
This current ecosystem where you can fill out a form and ruin someone's career.
Yeah.
So
or monetize it or be accessible to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyways, enough about how broken this website is. It's me who's wearing the Mack Weldons. They're our sponsor this week. They are a premium men's essentials brand that believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. They're betting that they're the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, and sweatpants that you will ever wear. If they don't leave you fully satisfied with your first pair, you can keep it, and they'll still refund you, no questions asked.
For the extra sweaty boys and girls out there, Mack Weldon has a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally microbial, meaning they eliminate odor.
PU.
And not only does Mack Weldon's entire line of basics look good, they also perform well no matter what the occasion. Work, exercise, if you're going on a date, hey, you name it. These Mack Weldons, they can be all over you. If you visit MackWeldon.com and use our promo code NewsDay, all one word, at checkout, they're gonna take 20% off of your first order. Again, that's MackWeldon.com, promo code NewsDay, all one word, or link in the description, and you'll get 20% off the best underwear and socks you've ever worn.
They are incredibly comfortable. I'm
keeping the stank out.
I'm satisfied. I knew underwear was their main product, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard about that. I got a bunch of socks. They're some of the best socks I've ever had.
And I've seen on the news in the middle of the day that the price of silver is going up. So hold on to these Mack Weldons.
These are an investment.
Now is the time to buy. These Mack Weldons are only going to go up in value.
Just buy them and store them next to your seed bank.
Yeah.
And your go bag.
Don't worry, I got the Mack Weldons. These babies are going to be currency when the world goes down. No, they're great. They're great.
In other news, back to the news. Hey guys, Facebook's having yet another bad week. They're in trouble with the law here in the US and also across the pond over in the UK, and for 2 different reasons. It's incredible.
Yeah.
These people are truly prolific in their absolute shittiness.
Yeah.
Let's start here in America. Now, the Federal Trade Commission this week publicly released a new complaint against Facebook regarding an old loophole that was discovered last summer that allowed anyone to easily harvest personal data from supposedly closed Facebook groups.
Huh. Well, this was discovered back in July by users of a closed Facebook group used by women with a rare genetic disorder that increases their risk of breast cancer, which is definitely something you'd want to be able to discuss privately with no risk of that information getting out. I don't think it's really embarrassing. It's just something that you'd want to have a nice, safe group to talk to with.
Also, given how health insurance works in this country,
yeah.
like, that's who's getting this data.
Well,
and that's who's getting the data every time you get a DNA test, you fucking idiots.
Yeah. Did we turn down a DNA sponsorship? Because we're looking out for you. Anyways, it turns out that a Chrome extension used by people in the marketing business allowed anyone with the extension to download in bulk the names, locations, email addresses, and employers of every member of that closed group without being a member. Not long after this group's members went public with this, Facebook fixed the glitch. But in true Facebook fashion, they claimed that them doing so had nothing to do with the group's complaint.
This is something they do a lot. They never give credit. Like, there's been times where people have found something bad on Facebook, reported it to Facebook, and then mysteriously, within 24 hours, Facebook does something about it, but then Facebook will claim oh no, that was our own complete independent investigation. It had nothing to do with that person.
Mm-hmm. No bug bounties.
Anyways, all these months later, the FTC has issued a formal complaint about it, and the House of Representatives Committee on Energy and Commerce is now asking to meet privately with Facebook to discuss their concerns about all of this. Most of these Congress members are old as hell, though, and probably don't even know how to send an email, so don't expect much to come out of it. That's the part that sucks the most. Over in the UK, though, their parliament does not appear to be messing around anymore when it comes to Facebook, as evidenced by the recent publication of a 108-page report titled Disinformation and Fake News that accuses Facebook of, quote, intentionally and knowingly violating data privacy laws and calls Mark Zuckerberg out for, quote, failure of leadership and personal responsibility. You've been a bad boy, Mark.
The report, which was written over the past 18 months in response to the big Cambridge Analytica scandal, basically calls for a complete overhaul on how the UK regulates social media companies, treating them neither as a platform nor a publisher, but rather something new and legally specific. It also calls for investigations into whether Facebook's advertising platform violates antitrust laws, a compulsory code of ethics for social media companies, a new independent UK regulator specifically for tech companies that can launch legal proceedings against them, complete transparency in how UK politicians and political organizations use targeted advertising, and much, much more.
Yeah, the best part about this report is that Mark Zuckerberg could have probably avoided a lot of its wrath if he'd ever actually just flown over to the UK and showed up to Parliament to testify like he was asked to do multiple times.
No, we're gonna put the Facebook webcam in the room. It's very nice. You can see my entire body.
The report specifically calls him out for that, and for because what he would do is he would send over Facebook reps to testify. Like, this guy can talk for me, but those people wouldn't be able to actually answer a lot of Parliament's questions.
Which was probably the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Parliament is they literally say that this was a deliberate move on their part to slow things down.
At least they're calling them out on it, because in the United States it'd be like, well, he just didn't have the answers.
Do we really want to slow innovation down with all these new regulations? Yeah, the report actually refers to Facebook as digital gangsters.
That sounds cool, actually.
Who consider themselves to be ahead of and beyond the law. Damian Collins, the chair of the committee, said at its release, the guiding principle of the move fast and break things culture often seems to be that it is better to apologize than ask permission. We need a radical shift in the balance of power between the platforms and the people. The age of inadequate self-regulation must come to an end.
Anyway, speaking of big companies getting put in their place, last week, Amazon officially abandoned their plans to build a second headquarters in New York City after not receiving the warm welcome that they seemed to assume that they'd be getting. Turns out New Yorkers, one, like unions, and two, can do math. And the math of Amazon HQ2 deal, it seemed like many people in New York bending over and letting Amazon have their way with them. So Amazon's whole plan for building a second headquarters relied on the assumption that in exchange for creating 25,000 jobs, they'd basically be given the equivalent of nearly $3 billion by New York City, which added up to New York paying Amazon $48,000 per new job. So
great deal. And also, turned out most of the people that were going to be hired there were going to be moving to New York and not actually people living in New York. So it was basically New York paying Amazon to fly a bunch of new people out there and raise the housing prices in an already just horrific housing market. Now, whether this thing fell apart because this sort of thing has been tried enough times before, and there's now enough evidence that it's almost never as great an opportunity for a city as it initially seemed, or it's because the negotiations were happening in a very opaque way behind closed doors, or it's because New Yorkers are stubborn assholes whose rent is already too damn high, it's important to note that it's Amazon who pulled out and not New York. A lot of people are missing that. New York was still ready to negotiate, and Amazon's just like, nah.
Yeah, New York's probably, sometimes, well, some of New York is probably like, oh man, on Valentine's Day.
Hey, but regardless, New York's gonna be fine, you guys.
Yeah.
They're doing all
They've
right.
bounced back from a lot worse.
In fact, now they've got a lot more money to go around for projects that benefit everyone. Like, I don't know, improving that metro system of theirs that's been in need of improvements for quite a while.
Yeah. Anyways, finally, in an update to our video from Monday about that Fortnite Festival over in England that was a sad, sad disaster and was also completely unaffiliated with and unauthorized by Epic Games, which is the company behind Fortnite. Guess what? Surprise. Epic's doing their own lawsuits. We're not the only ones that can get sued.
Yeah.
We can also sue other people. Epic Games, first they sued children, I believe, but now they're suing.
What?
Yeah, remember when they took the guy to court for hacking?
Oh,
His mom was like, he's a good boy.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're suing that company that put on the festival, Extreme Entertaining Events or whatever the hell it was. They're getting sued. Because they use the game's name and imagery without permission, like we said.
What? I can't do that?
It's good because they were planning on at least 2 more Fortnite live events, but now those events have been canceled.
I'm a little sad. I wanted to see how they would,
Bounce back.
Yeah.
Are you gonna bring the giant truck with the cave in it?
We swear the next one would have been awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna buy 2 rock climbing walls. It's gonna be great.
And another win for Epic Games in the courtroom. The U.S. Copyright Office has refused to register actor Alfonso Ribeiro's Carlton dance from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, calling it a simple routine made up of 3 dance steps. And writing, the fact that a dance or movement may contain more than a trivial amount of original authorship is irrelevant. Damn. Sorry, Carlton.
I'm still on the fence about this whole fucking thing.
I mean,
I understand it and I get it, but also like it's the fucking and also, I mean, first and foremost, it's not fucking Alfonso Ribeiro that would have been getting the money.
Yeah, it would have been
NBC.
Yeah, or would have been Quincy Jones, I think, technically. Because I think he owned the production company that made Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
But also, Alfonso Ribeiro said that he like stole it from Courtney Cox doing a dance in a Bruce Springsteen video. Or something.
Can't start a fire without. Yeah, it's a good video.
So the whole thing is screwed. I also think that it is in bad form for Fortnite to steal very iconic
This
dances,
could have all
no matter
been avoided.
how simple they are.
Yeah, just like, hey, buddy, here's like $10,000. We make that in 5 seconds.
It's very clear that they are utilizing the fucked copyright law system in America to monetize.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clear.
So anyway, looking like, this is probably good news for Epic because they're currently being sued by every famous person who's ever claimed a dance of their own for using those dance moves in their in-game emotes, some of which cost money. The legal battle is far from over, though. This could be the copyright battle that finally changes our broken copyright system for good.
Like I said, I get it. It is weird to copyright a dance move, and I guess they don't have legal grounds to do it. It's just like, if you've created something iconic and another company's monetizing it, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And people are like,
I understand why these people are mad.
You couldn't even moonwalk down the street without getting sued. And it's like, no, you could. You could do that. It's just you can't fucking monetize the moonwalk.
Right. Yeah, that's the issue here.
Anyways, also, rest in peace, Mars Opportunity Rover. This little guy landed on Mars back in 2004 and was only supposed to survive 90 days, but managed to survive all the way out there transmitting data back to Earth for 15 years.
Wow.
Just like Matt Damon.
It's like when you're like shopping for a dog and you're like, I'm gonna buy an old dog so it's not a long-term commitment. Gonna get this old guy over here. we'll spend like 2
I
or
love
3
that
years together.
In this scenario, the dog thinks that you're the best person in the world because no one else will adopt it because it's old, and it's someone who cares.
This is a real thing, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with adopting an old dog because they often don't get adopted, and old dogs need love too. But it's like adopting an old dog and assuming that you've got 3 years with it, and then it survives for 20 more years.
Oh, and that's bad to you?
No, it's just unexpected.
Really thought I'd be getting on with my life by now.
I got to imagine there's at least one guy on the Opportunity Rover crew who was planning to retire. He's like, all right, the Rover's gonna die in 90 days, and then I can move to Aruba. And then they're like, well, technically we need you. You're the only guy who knows how to run the gyroscope, so you're here. And now he's dead, and he didn't get to retire because selfish Opportunity Rover had to stay alive.
And all these damn old dogs.
Yeah, all these damn old dogs. The nerve of them.
to survive abusive households. That's why they live so long. They've been through the worst. When you start giving them the love, and the warm house and the nice bowl of food, they're like, I could live forever.
Yeah.
And you're like, please don't. I want to get married someday.
The funny thing about the Opportunity Rover is that it died 2 times and then came back.
So it can come back?
No, they're because now it's the internals are corroded or something. It can't actually work. But before it was I think twice it got covered in a mountain of sand in a storm. And they're like, well, that's it. Sorry, Opportunity. And then
the guy was packing his briefcase.
Oh shit, he's back!
And he just slams it shut. God, damn it! He had his little party cap on.
Fuck you guys! I hated working here. You fucking assholes. I'm so happy I never have to talk to you pieces of shit again. Boop. Oh, look! Opportunity Rover sending data back to Earth again. No! Rover!
Which is ironically the name of the dog that you adopted.
Yeah.
Rover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to pack up my desk and go home and put my dog down. Now
I have to live with both of them. Oh, God. Okay, anyways, that's the end of the show. Please watch the Fortnite video for all the news and depressing reviews of that fucking Fortnite Festival. Woo! And also, we got that Blippi episode that's still up.
Yeah. So you know how we were Blippi fans are never going to find this.
They did.
Well, it's if you even in incognito mode, if you search Blippi on YouTube.
What have we done? What have we done?
It's in the top 5 results.
Yeah.
I almost feel like removing the tag. It's we got most of the videos.
The video's done well. Let's
need.
remove the tag. I think we should remove this. We're going to remove the tag. You watch the video over here. It's the only way you can find it. Remove the Blippi tag.
Yeah, all right.
We're sorry, Blippi.
We're sorry. Bye.